Welcome to the 12th Horseshoe podcast live on our YouTube channel and also on Surge Sports YouTube. Jack Rizzo, Jason Lee, and I'm Elijah Weintraub joining you live here tonight, sponsored by Pro Red Italian American Eatery of Moonachie, New Jersey. We recap six in the NFL. Guys, how are we doing today?
Doing good, Eli.
Great.
Another week, we're in the swing of things now with football. Full swing, middle of October. Let's go.
Jason?
Doing good. Rough weekend, but
All righty.
We'll get to that. Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Okay, and he doesn't refer to the party kind of stuff. He's referred to the Dallas Cowboys. If you haven't noticed, he's a Dallas Cowboys fan. All right. Now let's get into some stuff beforehand. All right, we're going to start off with some big trades that happened today in the NFL. And for more on that, we go to Jack, who has more about these trades that happened today. Jack?
Yeah, it was a big afternoon for the AFC East. We had two former Pro Bowl receivers get traded today. We started with the big one, Devontae Adams going to the New York Jets in exchange for a conditional fourth-round pick that can become a second rounder. But Aaron Rodgers is reunited with his former teammate in Green Bay. We'll see how that goes. I mean, obviously, after watching last night, it's understandable why they made this trade. Mike Williams, Allen Lazard not really cutting it right now. We'll see how that pans out. And then we just had a couple hours ago, Amari Cooper be traded from the Cleveland Browns to the Buffalo Bills. So they get their number one receiver they've been looking for. And the Bills gave up a third round pick. There's a couple of other late round picks exchanged for these trades. And then the biggest trade of the day, the one that just broke, Cam Akers went back to the Minnesota Vikings from the Houston Texans.
Crazy news.
Wow.
And also, we also had a flex game as well. The Commanders-Bears game moved up to the 4:25 window, if I'm not mistaken, right, Jack?
Yes, So in week 8, not this week, week 8, Commanders-Bears, which was supposed to be 1 p.m. on CBS, will now be 4:25 p.m. on CBS. It'll be the doubleheader national game, Caleb Williams versus Jaden Daniels. And then Eagles-Bengals, which was supposed to be the marquee game at 4 o'clock, moves to 1 o'clock. But if you remember, Eli, on our scheduled prediction show, I highlighted like 5 to 6 marquee NFC matchups for 2024, and I circled Bears Commanders in week 8. You thought I was crazy, but I'm like, you know what? It's number 1 pick versus number 2 pick, and I think we've seen why now. They both balled out, and now they get a national TV spot in week 8.
And Atlanta will host the Super Bowl in 2028. All right, moving right along. Let's get into some of the recaps. Of course, we talked about the 49ers-Seahawks game. 49ers had the victory 36-24. You can catch our previous episode to see what our thoughts about that game was. Moving right along, we go to a very disappointing London game. The Jaguars, unfortunately, lost big to the Bears, 35-16. It's like they forgot to go to work. Really, that was the bottom line. It was a horrible, pathetic game that they performed. And Jack had them for the upset pick of the week, the Jaguars. I also did too, but not for my upset. We both got this pick wrong. And Jason, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts immediately about this horrible performance by the Jaguars?
What happened? I thought the Jaguars were invincible in London. That's why we all took them. I mean, but the Bears, don't sleep on them. I said they were going to win 12 games, and honestly, it might happen with the way they're playing. Sure, it's the Jaguars, but I think the Bears just proved that they're a really strong team, man. And Caleb Williams, give the Bears the weapons. Give Caleb Williams the receivers, the young guys, strong defense. The Bears could be a serious threat.
Jack?
Yeah, it was a disappointing effort for the Jaguars. I thought after that win over the Colts last week, they started to get some momentum. They've always played very well in London, but they just laid a big old goose egg on the field on Sunday. Trevor Lawrence was completely lost out there. He's underthrowing deep balls, unacceptable from him. And the Jags defense, which was good the first quarter of the season, they've now given up 30 points in 3 of their last 4 games. But as for the Bears, they just keep getting better and better each and every week. I know the competition's been a little suspect because they played, Carolina, Jacksonville, an injured Rams team, but I think the Bears have a very bright future. Caleb Williams has done a good job so far. Cole Kmet, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, they're all getting involved now in that offense, and this is a great win for them in London. Now they get a much-needed bye week, and I do want to say, as a Colts fan, I feel like we played the Bears at the perfect time. I feel like if we played the Bears now, we would definitely lose, but good win for the Bears here in London, and yeah, I have your picks too, Jason, here. As well. So I'll read those off. But yeah, we all had the Jaguars. We all thought they'd win in London, and we were all wrong.
Absolutely. All right. And by the way, the teams on bye this week were the Chiefs, Rams, Dolphins, and Vikings. So those 4 teams had no game this week. Next game on the list was actually surprising. Commanders lose to the Ravens 30-23, but only by 7. The Commanders actually had opportunities to win this game. didn't end that way. Unfortunately, the Ravens did take the victory here. But do we have to now be concerned about this Ravens team and now that they're even putting it even closer instead of bigger margin wins, especially this team such as the Commanders? What are your thoughts on this? We'll start with you, Jason.
I don't know, man. The Commanders were surprisingly I'm still impressed that they're 4-2. I did not think they were going to be 4-2 in this point. And I think they played really well against a strong Ravens team with that run game. But I feel like the Commanders still need to work some things out. I mean, Jonathan Allen out for the year with a torn pec is going to be a huge loss to that defense.
Big.
And I think they'll still bounce back, especially with Jaden Daniels at the helm and that Cliff Kingsbury running that offense. But as for the Ravens, I think that they're hitting their stride, man. That 0-2 start seems like a distant memory, and now the Ravens are someone to watch out for.
Yeah, I had a feeling after the Ravens started 0-2, I said, I don't know, I forgot who I said to. I might have said it to one of you guys or to my dad or somebody, but I'm like, I think honestly now the Ravens might honestly go on like a 6 or 7 game win streak after starting 0-2. And yeah, they've won 4 in a row. Derrick Henry might be the best free agent addition that we had this offseason. Probably do. But the Ravens look really good right now. You know, Lamar, Derrick Henry, they're unstoppable. The Ravens now have 39 straight games with over 100 rushing yards. That's a multi-year active streak. Only 4 away from 43, which they set a couple of years ago. They're going back to the way they were when they first had Lamar Jackson. They're just running the football, getting wins like this, but not a bad performance at all by the Commanders on the road, only losing by 7. Terry McLaurin is playing like one of the best receivers in the game right now. You know, he finally has a quarterback that can get him the ball, and Jaden Daniels, still the Rookie of the Year favorite, obviously, and playing Carolina next week. I think the Commanders will be just fine. Eli, you had the Commanders. Jason and I had the Ravens.
All right, that was my upset pick of the week, by the way. Next game, a surprisingly closer game than we thought. The Eagles beat the Browns 20-16. Both Jack and I had them for our Survivor pick of the week. Did Jason have it, Jack?
For what?
Survivor, Eagles.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
so we had a 3-way Survivor, and either way, this game is actually surprisingly more close than I thought. Should we be scared about this Philadelphia team now because they're now almost giving up? They almost lost the game to the Browns. What are we thinking about that? I'll start with you, Jason.
Philadelphia, all right, they're what, 3-2? All right, so I think AJ Brown and Devontae Smith coming back, or Devontae Smith didn't come back. And AJ Brown came back. He had a great game, got a nice touchdown. I think the Eagles still have some things to work out with. Nick Sirianni, the big meme. I don't know if you saw it, him shaving his head and talking all that smack to Eagle fans. I don't know. Maybe that comes back to haunt them, but I think the Eagles, it's a win, but against the Browns, it should be a
much bigger score.
Much bigger
dramatic score.
Yeah.
All right, Jack.
Nick Sirianni is a clown. I think that's what we can all say. Probably the easiest coach in the league to dislike. I mean, talk to your fans after barely beating the worst team in the league right now. It's not exactly the best look. You know, the Eagles defense has actually surprisingly played well. They really struggled last year, but this offense still cannot figure it out. You know, Jalen Hurts is extremely overrated. I mean, do the Eagles really need Shane Steichen that bad for this offense to actually function? It certainly looks like that might be the case. Vic Fangio's done a good job so far. In my opinion, defense and special teams have been fine. Well, they gave up the blocked field goal touchdown. That was the only touchdown the Browns had. But since you talked about the Eagles, Jason, I'll talk about the Browns real quick. Yeah, 1-5. I can't believe Deshaun Watson is still the starting quarterback. Kevin Stefanski said he's going to start again this week. Obviously good for Amari Cooper that he's out of, a terrible situation that is Cleveland. And I don't really even know how many more games the Browns can win this year. Maybe being at home against the Bengals this week will help them. They have owned the Bengals the last couple of years, but it's hard to say that there's a team worse than the Cleveland Browns right now.
That team would be the Carolina Panthers.
We all had the Eagles for Survivor, by the way. I think you said that, Eli. I just wanted to make sure. Okay.
There's Finley in the back.
Yep.
Jack's dog. You could just tell once the thing moves, you know it's his dog. So plain and simple. Next game, we got a weird score again. Buccaneers over the Saints, 51-27. Did the Saints go to sleep? This is a team that beat Dallas. The team that off to a fantastic start and went in and lost 51-27. What an absolute joke, disappointing performance that we just saw by the Saints. I don't think anybody saw this coming. And for the Buccaneers, right now they look like the front runners of the winners to win the division, other than Atlanta. Those are your two competitors right there. After that game, that's what we basically just saw. Jason, good.
I'm confused that this game. I was watching Red Zone. This game came back and forth a lot. This game was 27-24 at the half, and the Saints were up going into the locker room. And you blinked. You played 2 quarters, and all of a sudden, 51 points is what you get at the end of the game. Like, what happened? Like, the Bucks, I don't know. They're nipping at Atlanta's heels right now, and don't be. Don't say, oh, you know what? The Falcons are better. The Falcons are better. The Falcons beat them last week. The Bucks might win this division. I don't know. That division between those two is 50-50. I think we can rule out now, especially with how the Saints are playing in the upcoming weeks without Derek Carr. I think we can rule out the Saints and, of course, the Panthers. But I think the Bucks proved that this game, they really needed a big win to keep going and get that momentum. And I think that's what they got. No Mike Evans 100 career touchdown, though. I'm a little sad, but
All right, Jack.
Well, that 2-0 start for the Saints might go down as the most random 2-0 start in NFL history. Scoring 91 points. That feels like a lifetime ago now that they were 2-0. This was just not a good performance at home, but what a crazy game this was. It was 17-0 Tampa Bay. Then the Saints came back in a half a quarter. It was 24-20. They were winning, and then the Bucks just took control in the second half. Credit to, I don't know how Tampa Bay scored 51 points. They didn't have Rashad White in this game, and Mike Evans only had 2 catches, left early with an injury. So credit to Baker Mayfield and that Bucks offense against the Saints defense that had some good performances this year. Yeah, I totally agree with you guys. It's going to be a 2-way race between the Bucks and the Falcons here in the NFC South. They play each other in a couple of weeks in Week 8. That's going to be a big game that could decide who ends up winning this division. But yeah, what a disappointment for the Saints after starting 2-0. And Dennis Allen could be the next head coach to get fired after Robert Saleh. That definitely seems like a possibility.
All right, the next game on this list, Texans beat the Patriots 41-21. Lock of the week for both of us, and I think Jason as well. I mean, that was the Texans finally won a game without leaving it close. They actually won by a mile pretty much in this game, and there's not much more to say, but the Patriots did horrible in that performance and hope to bounce back next week versus Jacksonville. And for the Texans, yeah, it's the Texans for you. I mean, what a big win for them. Jason?
I'm not surprised. I think this should have been 21 points is winning by 20 points is good, but I feel like the Texans are just not the same Texans that we saw last year at the end of the season, that big playoff push. Everyone was rooting for the underdog. I love CJ Stroud. I think he's a top quarterback in this league, but I feel like they need to just find their footing more in the next couple of games. I will say Drake May, I do appreciate it. 3 touchdowns in his first game. That's a step in the right direction, definitely for him especially against Jacksonville coming up on Sunday.
All right. Rizzo? You're muted.
Oh, I was saying, it's funny. I had the Texans winning by 20 this week, which ended up being, or by 21, so same margin, but I didn't think it would be a score like this. I thought it would be a defensive game. I didn't think, the Patriots had their best offensive performance of the season, no doubt about that. Drake May looked really solid for them, but I don't know what happened with this Patriots defense. I mean, sure, Houston's got a great offense, but, great game for Joe Mixon, good game for Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell, both had touchdowns in this one, but yeah, I'm still not fully bought into the Texans. I know they're 5-1, but I want to see them play some better competition. They have some good games. They have some tough ones coming up. You got Green Bay next week. You got Detroit coming up in a few weeks. Even like the Colts, I would say. This isn't even me being biased because the Colts play everybody tough. That's not even a guarantee win, especially when Nico Collins still out for 3 more weeks. Like that is a big loss for them. And
yes.
You're not gonna be able to play the Patriots or the Jaguars every week.
But how I look at it is like this. Nico Collins is definitely hurting the Texans that he's now out for a while. But at the same time, too, is they played the Bills, won that game. So I feel like
Nico Collins was in that game, though.
I don't that's not my point.
And when Nico Collins left, the Texans blew a 17-point lead. So you already saw the difference of not having Nico Collins after.
Right, but I still see the Texans still coming up on top. For
sure. They're a great team. They're a
For
great team.
sure.
I just don't think they're as good as some people think they are. But if they prove me wrong the next few weeks, I'll be glad to admit that I was wrong. So we'll
All
just
right,
have to see
then.
what happens.
Colts Titans. Colts with the victory, 20-17. Colts love to keep it close, and they got a victory there. And I'll let Jack start it off because he's the Colts fan. He watched this game closely and more than all of us did. So, Jack, break it down for us.
Yeah, it was an interesting game. Joe Flacco definitely has his limits. I know, he's not the starter, guys. I don't care what you say. He did not play well on Sunday.
J-O-E Flacco.
Joe Flacco did not play well on Sunday. He actually played he had a really horrible interception. He just did
Better
not
than
look
Anthony
good.
Richardson.
That's just not true.
It's true.
You're not the Colts fan, Eli. I'm the Colts fan. You don't watch the Colts games. Give me the scores of all 6
Whatever,
Colts games
Jack.
so far this year.
Whatever, Jack.
Oh, you're saying whatever, Jack, but that just proves that I'm right and you don't have an argument. So we're just going to keep going here.
What's wrong with saying that I think Joe Flacco should be the quarterback? There's nothing wrong with it.
Okay, look long-term, Eli. Joe Flacco is 40 years old. Is he going to be the quarterback for the next 8 years?
No, and you think Anthony Richardson's going to be the savior? No.
We don't know because he's been hurt. But just because he's
the
hurt,
issue. That's going to be the problem.
Because
your franchise quarterback you're saying is going to be nonstop hurt, and that's your franchise
all
quarterback?
right, Eli, then you know what? Tyler Huntley is better than Tua Tagovailoa in that case. Tyler Huntley's better than Tua Tagovailoa with your argument. So if Tua can't stay healthy, Anthony Richardson can't stay healthy. So Joe Flacco and Tyler
Okay,
Huntley,
but at least Joe Flacco's good, though. You can't compare that to him.
Tyler Huntley
That's
won his last
comparison.
start. Tyler Huntley won his last start.
15-10 was the final versus the Patriots.
Yeah, that's true. But Anthony Richardson is the
That's
starter
true.
when he comes back. But yeah, the Colts defense finally the Colts.
Love how
defense
Jason's just
stepped up.
there, no comments.
Even
nothing,
though
they're chill. Thanks for commenting, bro.
Even though the Colts gave up a 3rd and 19 touchdown on a give-up run, somehow let Tony Pollard do that. But Michael Pittman played through the back injury. He's a warrior. Josh Downs, you could argue he's like a top 3 slot receiver in the game right now. Josh Downs has been balling out the last couple of weeks. We should start to get our guys back. So we're 3-3. We still have a lot of work to do. But against the Miami team next week without their quarterback, I think the Colts can have a good chance to get back over 500.
Jason?
I think the Colts are in a good spot. I think Joe Flacco's left them in a perfect spot when Anthony Richardson eventually comes back. I mean, this is surprise. He's 38 and he's balling out like it's the prime of his career. And he's putting up, I mean, not this week, but like he's been putting up numbers recently that like for a backup quarterback, that's really impressive. I mean, for the Titans, Will Levis. Oh boy.
The worst thing about the Titans though is that they spent so much money this offseason and they're
right.
1-5. Calvin Ridley got $92 million. L'Jarius Sneed got $76 million. Lloyd Cushenberry got $50 million. Tony Pollard got $21 million. That's who replaced Derrick Henry, by the way. Tyler Boyd, they signed Tyler Boyd,
And their quarterback is William Donovan Levis. Surprise.
The full name drop.
Yeah, William Donovan Levis. Like, look at him. Like everyone, like no one's even concerned about Will Levis's gameplay. Everyone's concerned about when the 4:00 game hits. What's the Will Levis meme of the week? Like what? And it's unfortunately prayers up to the ball boy. It was Will Levis diving at a ball boy's knee.
We have 2 quarterbacks in the AFC South who are named William. That's pretty interesting. We have William Levis and William Lawrence because that's Trevor Lawrence's real name.
I don't know. Maybe it's time to make a change in Tennessee. Mason Rudolph won a game.
Yeah.
Mason Rudolph won his first start, made it look easy. So I don't know. Something to think about in Tennessee.
Can Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer lead Tennessee back to relevance?
We'll see. But we will see this.
Oh, we all have the Colts, by the way.
Packers defeated the Cardinals.
Oh, no. Jason had the Titans. I'm sorry. Jason had the Titans. Eli and I had the Colts. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I read it wrong. Sorry.
Titans? Why did I believe in Will Levis?
That's what I have written down here. So.
Oh dear.
Horrible pick.
Yeah, O'Near's right.
I don't know.
The Packers defeated the Cardinals 34-13. That's not much more I could say about this. The Cardinals stink. Packers are good. That's all I could say. Jason, we'll go to you.
Yeah, I'm surprised here. I'm surprised. I didn't think when Jordan Love went down, I did not have any faith in the Packers. I did not have any faith in Malik Willis. He went 2-0. He made the Packers back on the right foot after that loss in Brazil. And the Packers look really strong. I'm always quick to say that experience is going to come down the line. Experience is going to hurt them. They're going to run into teams that are experienced, but I don't think that's an issue. Jordan Love and that young offense is really strong. That defense is really strong. Matt LaFleur is a great coach. I think the Packers are that NFC North is something to watch
What a
out for.
division.
Don't just look at Minnesota and Detroit. Maybe watch out for Green Bay too.
All right, fair enough. Next game on the list.
Wait, no, you didn't.
No, I forgot Jack. Oh, sorry.
Wow.
So you said
no.
2 man.
Well, with what I'm about to say, Eli, you might want to have forgotten me, but if you
Okay, next. Okay,
Moving
so we'll
on.
move along. That Chargers.
No,
Broncos.
no.
No, you said you wanted me to forget you, so I said, all right.
I said
we'll
you
move
might.
along.
You still let me speak though. I'm just saying you might not like it. So
Okay, so
Still
let's
like-
hear it. Let's hear it.
Okay.
But
Well,
let's
I
move on.
love what Jason said at the end about the Lions and the Vikings. So don't forget about the Packers, because I still think that the Packers win this division. I still think that Green Bay can win this division.
Nope.
I mean, look at how they're playing right now. And the underrated part of Green Bay is their defense. I don't think enough people are talking about how good the Packers defense is. Xavier McKinney, what a
Vikings
signing
are still
that was.
perfect.
What?
The Vikings are still perfect.
Okay, well, how long will that last, though, Eli? Because the 2016
Wow.
the 2016 Broncos started 5-0 and they finished 8-8. So just because you start 5-0 doesn't mean you're going to be good.
They will be good.
But good win for the Packers. And I disagree with you, Eli, about the Cardinals stink. I don't think they stink. I think they just need a little more time. I mean, they did just beat the 49ers
How much more
last
time?
week.
How
So
much more time? We give them time for many years now.
their defense still needs to develop. That's the one thing. Their offense has been good though. So
Sure, let Robert Saleh go there. Next game on the list.
good point.
Broncos lose the Chargers 23-16. Surprise win there.
Congratulations to Jason for getting this score exactly right, even though he didn't get the team right.
Oh,
He had 23-16. So for the second straight week here on the 12th Horseshoe podcast, we have an exact score prediction right. But for the second straight week as
That's
well,
why you wanted to go on tonight.
wrong
Makes
team.
a lot more sense. The pictures now getting together. The puzzles now
Oh
getting-
wow, yes. The Broncos game was the reason that I come on this show. No, I mean, I'm disappointed. I really thought the Broncos, after they were 3-2, I really thought they were something
gonna win
to watch out for. But the Chargers came in and sure, the Broncos got a last-minute garbage time touchdown, but to make it a one-score game, but the Chargers, it was one-sided for the entire game, and the Broncos, I don't know. Bo Nix is good, but I don't know where they go from here.
All right. Jack. And his mic is muted. We'll be right back after a word from our messages and stations at Prova. Prova, take it away.
I'm a little slow today. I did have a long weekend, but anyways.
Oh, okay.
You say that all the time, Eli, so you can't have anything against me. You're always, if I tell you you're so idle one, okay, good. I'm glad you understand. Okay.
He was at Syracuse.
You didn't have to. I wasn't going to mention that, Eli, but whatever.
I hope the trip was nice.
It was a good trip. It was beautiful.
Okay.
Well, actually, it rained all day, but the drive
But
up
it's
was
okay.
nice. Yeah, I like rain. So
And
rain's
was the
beautiful.
university nice?
Yes, it was very nice.
Very nice. Okay,
but
back to the game.
Sometimes the bye week comes at really opportune times for certain teams, and especially with the Chargers last week. They had a lot of injuries. They got a lot of their guys back, and they came ready to play against Denver. Sometimes bye weeks just come at the perfect time for some teams, and it's a good win for them. And I think I still have faith in the Broncos. I just think Bo Nix has shown a lot of promise. I think Sean Payton just has to be more consistent with the play calling. But the Broncos defense has actually played very well, which has been a huge plus for them. And the Broncos have a relatively manageable schedule. You've got New Orleans this week and then Carolina. They still have games against the Raiders and other teams. So I still think the Broncos are going to have a solid season.
All right, the next game on the list, Steelers over the Raiders 32-13. Not much more I could say about this one. Raiders were not really impressive, and if Justin Fields continues to be the quarterback and it's not going to be Russell Wilson, the Steelers will continue to win games, and that's all I'm going to say. Jason?
This game wasn't really impressive. The Raiders aren't really impressive, and it's really weird to think that between the Raiders, Allegiant Stadium, and SoFi Stadium is filled with the away team. There were a lot of terrible towels waving around in Vegas that game, and it was loud, and it wasn't the Raider fans. But I think the Steelers, after that loss against Dallas, I knew they were going to bounce back, especially with a banged-up Raiders team without Devontae Adams. But I think the Steelers are pretty strong. Their defense is really good. T.J. Watt, best defensive player in the league. And I think Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, I don't really see a problem with either two. Maybe Russell Wilson will have maybe some trouble coming out of the gates because he hasn't played this season. But I think the Steelers are in a great spot right now in the AFC.
Okay. Jack?
Testing. Is my mic muted? No, it's not good. I caught up this time. Wait, before I talk about this game, Jason, I just realized, can I ask you why you picked the Cardinals over the Packers this week?
Okay, was that my upset?
It was not, but you did pick the Cardinals, though. I just want to know.
I don't
Clearly, he keeps asking to be on a program.
I had a feeling
mentioned that he picks
something was
horrible.
I had a
my
feeling
picks look
that
good.
Let
You
him
make
speak,
my picks
Eli.
look good.
Let him speak, Eli.
I had a feeling like one of these games has to go the wrong way. I chose that one.
It was actually a normal week in the NFL for once. Like this is like the first week of 2024 that's actually been normal. But as for this game, yeah, the Steelers dominated. There's really no other question. I mean, to be fair to what your point, Jason, the Steelers take over pretty much every away stadium they go to. You see terrible towels everywhere, but yeah, disappointing for the Raiders. I mean, they just look like a total disaster right now. How did they beat the Ravens on the road in week 2? How? I don't even understand. And then their other one was against the Browns. Yeah, the Raiders are horrible. They have disappointed me. I thought this was the second best team in the AFC West, not the worst team. So this was definitely wrong. Antonio Pierce honestly might be a one-and-done head coach here in Las Vegas. But yeah, the Steelers continue to play well, and we'll see what happens next week.
All right, now the moment we've all been waiting for, our Cowboys rant, as the Cowboys lose to the Lions 47-9.
Scorigami.
9 points. That's pathetic. And now the ultimate Cowboys fan,
Shout
Mr.
out to
Jason
Brandon
Lee.
Aubrey for all those 9 points. I really appreciate it. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. This team is a joke. It's a complete dumpster fire. Like, sure, you beat the Browns, the Giants, and the Steelers. Good for you. Like, what do you want, a medal? Like,
yes,
you cannot. You are a team that beat everyone by at least 20 points or more at home last year. What's the script this year? You lose 44-19, 28. It was 28-6. I don't know how it became 28-25 against Baltimore. And now 47-9. The Lions were having fun out there. Dan Skipper was running routes. Penei Sewell was winning. No, exactly. Penei Sewell almost went in the end zone. Taylor Decker dropped the pass. But like Sam Laporta got a flea flicker touchdown on a trick play. Like, I don't get it.
But the injury, though, David Montgomery, that was the big issue of the day.
Oh yeah, David Montgomery, yeah. But like, I don't get it. Like, what was the magic in the offseason? Like, we're gonna bring in Mike Zimmer. We're gonna see if that works. But like, oh, he's such a good coach. He's such a good, like, he knows what he's doing. Yeah, like, great. Did Jerry Jones forget? I get he's 83, but did he forget that Mike Zimmer and Mike McCarthy were in the same division for like 8 years? And they went toe-to-toe every single time. Like, and even Mike McCarthy said he didn't want Mike Zimmer here. Like, you're putting oil and water on a coaching staff, and you're like, here, MacGyver up a Super Bowl run. Like, I don't know what to do. It's embarrassing. It's a joke. And everyone's like, oh, don't blame Dak. Don't blame. Dak hasn't been doing great. Like, $60 million.
He does not deserve the money. Bottom line,
$60 million a year. Are you insane?
he does not
His
deserve the
best
money.
game
I've been
was
saying that
against
since
the
the beginning.
Browns, the Steelers on that one drive. Like, it makes no sense what they're doing. Like, and you're gonna go on a bye this week. Let me guess, do nothing. Everyone's gonna have a week off, and then you're gonna go play San Fran. Like, we all know how that story's gonna go. We already saw the last 4 years of that. I don't know.
All I know is that I keep saying this, and I said it from the beginning. He does not deserve that kind of money, Dak Prescott.
No, he doesn't.
He does not, and that's the bottom line. Jack, we'll get to your thoughts. Go ahead, break it down for us. What are your thoughts on this crazy rant? By the way, bravo. That's all I can say. Bravo.
Yeah,
All in.
I don't really know. I don't really even know if I could say anything better. Well, we have to say first, prayers for Aiden Hutchinson. That was a horrible injury that he suffered. That was, oh goodness, that was horrible. And that's like for a guy who was leading the league in sacks, the face of that Lions defense. Does Max Crosby go to the Lions now? Does Hassan Reddick go to the Lions now? It could be a possibility, but shout out to David Montgomery, though. I'm glad you guys mentioned him. People say for some reason that Jahmyr Gibbs is better. That's just not true right now. Montgomery is the number one in Detroit right now. But basically, to sum it up in one sentence, the Lions were playing backyard football this week, and they scored 47 points with it. So I think we can just move on with that statement.
All right. Falcons destroy the Panthers 38-20. I think we're going to keep this short and sweet. The Panthers put up 20 points, believe it or not. That's what we can say. The Falcons, they got 38 and got the victory. That's all I could say here. Jason, you're clapping. Let us know what you think.
I will say the Falcons beat the Panthers by 18 points, but at the half, it was 22-17. The Panthers were keeping up, and then the Panthers just went back to being the Panthers. Like, there's nothing much to say. I will say I've seen a lot of clips today that there was an announcer's jinx with Chris Myers talking about how much Andy Dalton is a role model to Bryce Young and how much of a professional quarterback he's learning from a great guy. Meanwhile, the next play, Andy Dalton throws a pick at like the 2-minute warning. Like, I don't know. The Panthers are just dysfunctional. Andy Dalton had that one miraculous game, and that was it.
Yeah. Bottom line, Jack.
Yeah, I am super high. I am super high on this Atlanta Falcons team. I think they are the best team in the NFC South, and with 3 straight division wins, they are in really good shape right now. There's no weaknesses on that offense. You go around that offense from the O-line to the receivers to the quarterback to the running backs. There's no weakness there. Tyler Algier is so underrated, another criminally underrated running back in the NFC. And the Falcons defense, one of the best in the league. It's best safety duo, AJ Terrell in the secondary, Matt Judon up front. As for Carolina, yeah, dysfunctional. I don't know why Dave Canales took a job there. I don't even think any coach can fix Carolina. I think Dave Tepper just needs to sell the team. I think that's the first thing.
That's the bottom line. But
probably the worst owner in sports right now. I mean, gave up all those draft picks for Bryce Young, forced the coaching staff to take him. Then he fired Frank Reich after 11 games. Then he dumped his drink on a Jaguars fan last year. It's rock bottom in Carolina right now. It really is. And I don't really know where to go from here. But good win for the Falcons on the road.
All right, Bengals over the Giants, 17-7. Big win for the Bengals. Giants, yikes, 7 points only when they really should have won that game. That was a game that I picked them to win, but that was clearly wrong. Bengals were the other two guys' picks, and not much more I could say there. But the Giants are really horrible, and lucky win for the Bengals. Guys, Jason?
That game was very boring, man. It was 10-7 for the longest time. The Giants had an opportunity to tie it. They missed the kick. I mean,
and there was no wind.
Exactly. No Malik Neighbors in that, and like still they can't. I guess that's proven difficulty for the Giants right now. I mean, Joe Burrow had almost a 50-yard touchdown run. Like, let's credit him there. But like the Bengals, like this should have been a rout, and it wasn't.
Jack?
Well, Eli, you said the Giants were horrible, but you didn't say it in your famous horrible voice. So I was a little disappointed. But
whatever, Jack. Move along.
Two whatever, Jackson, the same show.
Yeah. But yeah, this is one of those games where both teams come out of the game really mad. Honestly, I don't think any of the Bengals or the Giants fans. Well, actually, everybody was mad. The NFL fans were mad that this was the Sunday night game to begin with, and then the Bengals fans were mad because they almost lost to the Giants, and the Giants fans are mad because they have to watch Daniel Jones every single week on TV. So this is a game where nobody came out happy, except for fantasy owners, I guess, if you had like Joe Burrow running for 50-yard touchdown. But
that was pretty much it.
I guess the Bengals won, so give them credit there. But this is not the same Bengals team we have seen the last couple of years. I was definitely wrong about them. I can't believe I actually picked them to win this division. What was I thinking?
Crazy. Final game to recap: the Bills over the Jets, 23-20. After a team that always defeated Buffalo in MetLife Stadium. No more! And that's because Robert Saleh's not there. Flags are going thrown left and right. Defense proved to be struggling. Offense did better, and that's because Nathaniel Hackett's not the play caller, and now they got Devontae Adams to their bench. Bottom line, what we saw in that game was they fired the wrong guy. It should have been Nathaniel Hackett, and Robert Saleh should have stayed because that was the key to their success on the defensive side of things. Not so much the offense, but the defensive side of things. We'll start with you, Jason.
I mean, good win for the Bills. I mean, I don't know where the Jets are going from here. They're 2-4. You got Devontae Adams. We'll see how that plays out. But I don't know. Is it going to be Aaron Rodgers like throwing to Devontae Adams with their secret plays? And Garrett Wilson's going to be the odd one out again. But like, I don't know. Like he's out there today on the Pat McAfee show, Aaron Rodgers, and he's blaming Mike Williams for not running the proper route. How about blame Greg Zuerlein for not making field goals? You would have won. You would have won by 3 points if Greg Zuerlein hit both those field goals, and we would have
The
a
wind
different
was a factor.
conversation right now. What?
The wind was a factor.
Oh, the win was a factor yesterday.
Yeah.
The win was a factor. Okay. He's still Greg Zuerlein. You're a professional kicker, and they were not like
But there was wind though. Have you seen the
Yeah, but
wind?
these are not like 50-yard kicks. These are like less than like 40-yard kicks, and he's shanking them.
Go to the Pat McAfee
it's
kicking contest on
unacceptable.
College Game Day. We'll see.
Meanwhile, I'm bragging that I have the best kicker in the league, but who cares? I mean,
Uh,
Josh
listen,
Allen,
listen,
Amari
go to the
Cooper's coming
Pat
to
McAfee-
town.
Oh, Youngway, don't
College
disrespect
Game Day
Youngway
Pat
Koo like
McAfee
that.
kicking contest, and let's see.
Don't disrespect Youngway Koo like that, Jason.
Oh, I'm
Go to the
sorry.
Pat McAfee kicking contest on College Game Day.
Oh yeah,
Get the
I might
pick.
actually.
Yeah.
Give
Then
me
let
a
me know.
scholarship,
If
Pat.
not, come down
Watch
to
this
St.
show.
Mary's.
Where's
and see if
College
you
Game
can make
Day?
a pick.
Where's it's Austin, right?
Austin, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Or
But-
come down to St. Mary's to their field for
Oh,
this
yeah.
Friday's game. Make
High
a
school
field
game
goal.
day.
We'll have Paul Roach help you hold and or kick.
No, he doesn't hold. I don't know who
BJ
holds.
hold. And
Yeah.
have you show some lessons on how to kick a field goal.
I will say good for the Bills, though. I mean, good for Josh Allen to get another weapon like Amari Cooper. He's going to definitely be an asset to that Bills offense. Like I was
All right.
looking for a receiver since Diggs was gone. Now they have a receiver.
Jack.
The Jets are a joke, but honestly, they deserve
How?
it. It seems like a toxic work environment there. Everything's controlled by Aaron Rodgers. Like, what is this? The NBA.
That is correct.
Good thing that the Jets. Good. I'm honestly glad the Jets are losing. They deserve to lose. But good win for the Bills. And getting Amari
Is
Cooper.
this the
is
guy
really
who
gonna
just
help
said
them.
like in the beginning that they were going to win everything?
Who?
Jack, you.
What did I say?
Wasn't this the guy that said they were going to go hard, go high and have big expectations that they're going to go win a lot of games? You.
I didn't have the Jets for that many wins. George had them for 13 wins. Jason had them for, I think, 11 wins. Yeah.
I have 6.
I had them 10, but I had them missing the playoffs.
My point is,
I asked Jason. He had more wins than me, and he had the Jets making the playoffs.
whatever, Jack. Move along.
3 whatever Jacks in the same show.
And then George has the audacity today to call the Colts a poverty franchise.
Okay, well,
they
wait,
actually-
get
they
out
have
of
a better-
Whoa.
They have a better
He's
record
not
than the
even- he's
Jets
not even
right
on the
now.
program. All right, he's not even on the program. All right, let's get to some programming alert. No, it's all right because we cannot talk about somebody else's name when he's not even on the show.
Oh, yeah.
Legal reasons say so.
Legal reasons.
Legal reasons say so, Jack. Meanwhile,
my
we have a programming alert. In effect, we will be live at 5:00 on Friday to make our Week 7 picks. But before that, we are going to make our Thursday Night Football pick. We have the Broncos Saints 8:15 Prime Video. Jason, what's your pick for that game?
Ew, we're back to bad Amazon Prime games. Oof. The Sean Payton Bowl. I see the vision. Give me the Broncos on the road. Sean Payton goes to New Orleans 20-17.
Jack.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with Jason here. I like the Broncos here to bounce back. That defense playing really well. No Derek Carr again this week. I don't think the Saints can win. I think the Broncos fans are also going to really show out down there in NOLA. Give me the Broncos 20-14. I think another good effort from their defense. I'm taking the Broncos.
Give me the Broncos as well, 26-23. Don't be surprised if the Saints do try to cut it close in this game, although the Broncos will come up with the victory. All right, that concludes week number 6 recap and Thursday Night Football picks. That will do it for us here from Jason Lee, Jack Grizzo, Elijah Weintraub. We will see you on Friday at 5:00 for our picks. Go Seahawks, go Devils.
Go
Good night.
Colts.